Chiff McWheeler's Theodore reviews straight to you on the news. Today's episode featuring Theodore, Larson III, and Nick Deer. McWheeler's Theodore reviews straight to you on the news.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'm Chiff McWheeler, and we'll be analysing these two scenes from the Frankenstein theatre adaptation. Back to Theatre Review, the greatest theatre review show in the history of theatre review shows, with me, your host, Chiff McWheeler. Today, I am with the renowned critic of the Gothic theatre, Sir Theodore Larson, who has some comments on the contemporary theatre adaptation of Frankenstein, featuring Benedict Cumberbatch in the lead role, and directed by famous Nick Deer, who also joins us today. So, gentlemen, what were your overall thoughts on the performance?
Thanks, Chiff.
Thanks, Chiff.
So, overall, gentlemen, what was your opinion on the play?
Personally, it was a little of a letdown. I went into the National Theatre in London with high hopes, but soon became disappointed when it turned into just another interpretation of Frankenstein that will be forgotten in 10 years or so. Of course, Frankenstein and its story itself will be kept alive through the countless production of it in the media, yet I'm afraid this interpretation just slipped through.
In contradiction to what our friend Mr. Larson III just said, I feel it's certainly one of my favourite pieces of theatre to work, especially with the excellent acting of Benedict Cumberbatch, and how he truly threw himself into the role. I think that unlike the critiques of Larson, we were able to create beautiful set pieces and scenes that propelled Frankenstein into the modern age, and with that excellent rotating stage, and chandelier creating lighting and stage transitions that made it a memorable performance. I can see why some people were criticizing the ending and how abrupt it was with them just traveling to another country. Personally, I didn't mind it, and I was sticking to the book, the original book, but overall I found it an enrapturing play to work on, and all credit to those who worked on it.
Thank you, gentlemen. About the elements of Gothic theatre and its influences in the play. How do you feel it was incorporated? And if so, do you think it was well done?
I think that although some elements, such as lighting and costumes, were used effectively, credit to my boy Nick here, I believe that some features could have been improved upon. Upon viewing the play, the fear element of this classic has been washed down in comparison to the book. The book struck fear into our hearts and made Frankenstein's monster into a creature that was forever immortalized as a staple of Gothic literature and synonymous with fear. However, the character we see in the play isn't as fearsome, but instead more humane.
Given that Frankenstein was written during a real peak in Gothic literature, I feel it was only natural that this modern interpretation included Gothic elements. Admittedly, it was slightly washed down from for the modern theatrical performance of the original book. This felt like something I had to do to appeal to the modern age, which is not something I liked in hindsight. I wished I incorporated more features of Gothic theatre into the play. That is probably my biggest regret. However, many Gothic elements were incorporated. The varying dim lighting around the stage adhered to the Gothic themes and were greatly enhanced the overall play. Adding that with the screeching that gave the great tension in the air through sound, and Frankenstein's monster's continuous twitching with great scars, it gave it a great Gothic atmosphere despite being toned down slightly with a lot of tension.
The characters were represented in the play, and what aspects of the play were enhanced or diminished by this?
That's a good question, Chiff.
Good question.
Personally,
Good question.
I felt that the characters in the play were exaggerated in a way. Frankenstein's spasms in the opening scene quickly turned comedic, which did not particularly help the Gothic subgenre. However, throughout the duration of the play, the novelty of these spasms quickly wore off, and after a point, these did not add any more onto Frankenstein's character. However, I would like to congratulate Johnny Lee Miller. I felt like his character was very distinguished and combined the right amount of greed, manipulation, and sorrow in this character.
I think it was about time Frankenstein had a reputation that was true to the original novel, rather than the comical adaptations we have seen in recent times with the green Frankenstein and such. This play was a gritty representation of a monster, as it should be. The dirty, dank settings of which Frankenstein lived showed how neglected he was, and we did not hold back to show the atrocities that this monster could produce, sometimes killing people. This play showed the true horror of Frankenstein, contrasting the monster's innocence. And, well, I am really pleased with it, despite what the delusional Mr. Larson might say.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Chiff.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, Theodore.
It's been a
Been a pleasure.
Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me today on the 150th episode of Theatre Review. I think that both of your insights were very helpful in forming many of our viewers' opinions on the play. To our viewers, we hope to see you next time, and to you, gentlemen, we wish you well on your future endeavors. Thank you and good night.